can we dive into that a little bit, just about your process and how you work with advisors that want to get more out of their client relationships in order to help them grow and scale?
Yeah, so to grow and scale, what I've learned helping a lot of practices is there's definitely some points that they get stuck. And we see it a lot around 1.5 million in revenue. Some make it to two, some make it to three. They just hit this glass ceiling. They just get stuck. And there's these common constraints that consistently are holding them back from going to the next level. And the ones we've helped break out and double, triple, 10x, who have become Barron's, top 100 practices, it was really about overcoming these small number of things. So we've really designed our entire consulting program around the theory of constraints. What are the things really holding practice back? And I'll give you an example. So when we have a practice that comes to us says, we just want to acquire more clients. Would you show us how to do it? Okay, I know that that's not the issue. They're working on the wrong issue because I'll reference some industry research. Oxley Institute reports that 73% of new clients of advisors are coming from referrals, 24% are coming from referrals from other professionals, like mostly CPAs, and 3% is all other methods combined. So I know if a practice isn't getting referrals the majority of way that clients are coming, something's wrong in delivery, what they're doing with clients. So their constraints lie in there. What are they doing with clients? Do they have a great experience for the top clients? Is it all the same? Are they going deeper with them? How often are they talking to them? And when you really pull that back, like what's the root cause of these constraints? The number one constraint for financial advisors in the industry is capacity. Too many clients. And you look at the investment news study, it's the first thing they say on the first page of the study every year is that the advisor capacity is getting filled up. There's tremendous demand. Practices are getting full. It's stunting growth of practice. It's the number one thing that holds them back from growing to the next level. So I know they're working on the wrong constraint. You want to get new clients. If you want to get new clients, you got to fix capacity. And then you got to fix what you're doing with clients. And the practices that do that, they crush it with new clients. We hosted an event in New York just a couple of months ago, and we featured a panel of advisors that are all organically bringing in 250 million in new assets solely from referrals. And they all said the same thing. We're just doing a really great job with a specific segment of clients. That's it. We don't do any marketing. We don't do any fancy stuff. One of them has gotten so busy, they said, we have a waiting list of new people that want to come in and be our client, like good clients. They're bringing in about 5 million on average. They're new clients. So they're just crushing it by doing a great job with clients, but they worked on optimization first. And that led to the new clients, right? And all these things and how to scale, which is capacity, your structure, that can lead to doing a better job with clients, which just the referrals just come. They just naturally follow. So to do some contrived thing or to try and do some fancy marketing, it rarely works for practices. It's these other constraints they need to work through that's going to help them go to the next level.
With that example that you gave, and before we get to the example, having heard that stat about the like 3% or less coming from all other avenues, that's a little bit surprising. So I feel like that's a nice little reminder to anyone that's out there thinking about growth, whether you're the advisor or if you're one of wholesaler that's assisting someone with new client acquisition. It's that's a pretty fascinating stat on that 3%. But thank you, so I appreciate you sharing that. But with the example that you gave and from the panel, I do feel like advisors and our community as a whole, we kind of like to know what's working at certain places. And where you mentioned a specific subset of clients, how was the advisor breaking that down? Like, how are they doing that? Like that type of segmentation, if you're willing to share that.
Yeah, so one of the first components of segmentation, we help practices think in terms of revenue, not just AUM. Yes, AUM's the biggest driver of revenue, of course, but you see a lot of big firms thinking AUM. If you're independent, you own your business, and you're trying to hire other advisors to scale your business, you need to think in terms of revenue. So what's your revenue per client? What's your different segments in terms of revenue? So when we help advisors think differently and narrow down to what's their very best client tier, what does the revenue look like there, then we help them target and find, like, is there a niche in here? Is there one client that has others just like them out in the world that you could have access to? Or are there multiple? Do you have two clients that are either executive at the same place or own the same kind of business tends to be a lot of really great clients for financial advisors. So we've just helped them narrow down and say, oh my gosh, we have a couple clients that do this. They're ideal clients for us. Let's do an incredible job for them. And that's the path to duplicating it. The quickest path to a new ideal client is through existing ideal clients. So it's really more about focus. And it's a lot easier to do this, right? You don't have to go and invent some new contrived thing or spend a lot of money on marketing. It's all right in front of you. And that's what advisors miss because they get so busy. They get so busy, they miss the easiest ways to grow that are right in front of them.